What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to The Average Investor, where anyone can build wealth, even the average investor. And if you are new to this channel, it is all about personal finance, investing, and real estate. We have so much stuff to unpack and catch up on. I feel like this past week is just jam-packed with crazy, awesome things that have been coming our way with the real estate game, and I'm super excited to break them down. So one of the highlights from this week and the past week is we actually got a house under contract. It was an off-market house, so this was not being sold on the MLS. Got that property under contract, and within 48 hours, we assigned over that contract to a cash buyer. Now, in this video, I don't want to go into each step and really dive deep. I just want to give more of a general overview so you guys have a mindset and a framework of how this all works, as well as some other updates that we're really excited about. Now, I do not want to jinx this, and I'm going to go ahead and knock on wood here because, like I said 2 videos ago, especially in real estate, nothing is done until it is all sealed and signed, and I know this might bite me in the butt. But anyways, that signed assignment contract, the assignment fee on there, which is basically what our profit is for finding this off-market deal and getting it under contract, that number is $45,000. I truly cannot even fathom that that's even on the table right now. Again, we still have, they want to close in 10 to 14 days, so we have to wait that time out. So again, it is not 100% set in stone. They can still back out, but even the fact that that is on the table and they seem pretty excited about it, so I'm blown away, but I'm not going to fully internalize that number until I see that check in hand. With all that being said, if you have not subscribed to the Average Investor YouTube family yet, go ahead and subscribe, hit that bell notification so you don't miss any videos coming out, as well as like this video to push it to more investors so we keep spreading all the knowledge so we can get more people in the game. But guys, let's jump into the meat and potatoes of this video. How did we go from A to Z? How do we get an off-market property? And how are we even in the assignment process where literally the assignment fee is 45 grand, which, just for reference, my base at my job last year was 40. So a little bit different of a ball game here, as we can see, but let's unpack it. Guys, to be completely honest, the off-market deals and the wholesaling off-market properties are a completely new territory for me. Josh did a wholesale deal, if you've seen this video a couple videos back, on the MLS where he actually wholesaled a deal and made money from it. But again, this is an off-market property, so it's just a little bit different of a beast. So guys, how did I find this lead? Well, what I did is I went to PropStream, and I personally use PropStream. I also have an affiliate link down in the description if you guys want to follow along. Basically, what I did is I went to the Nashville area on PropStream and pulled a list of vacant properties. So there's no one currently living in it or someone that is currently renting it. An absentee owner, so they don't live in the property. They could live in state, they could live out of state. Also, it has ownership, but then more than 10 years, I'm pretty sure, with high equity. Those are all of the filters that I put on the list before I pulled the list. But guys, that was the criteria that I pulled from the list from PropStream. And what we did next was we took that list and we skip traced it. For those that do not know, skip tracing is you're basically taking an address and you're going to find the property owner, as well as some phone numbers, emails, maybe even a mailing address. The reason why this helps us out a lot is because you can send mailers to their mailing address. You can text them with SMS marketing, or you can do what I did, which was basically cold calling. So that's right, we literally took that list of around 500 owners and skip traced their names and put them into a dialer. Now, the dialer that I use right now is Mojo Dialer, which is a 3-line dialer, so it's going to call 3 people at one time. And basically, I'm cruising through this list over and over again, separating the wrong numbers, the people that are for sure not selling me that house anytime soon, and then also some with leads. But once you start sifting through the junk off this list of the wrong numbers and everything, you'll start to find those leads, which are people that there is a potential that they might sell that property. Now, for this particular property, I called them, completely cold called her, talked to her. She mentioned that it was her childhood home that her parents basically moved out of, and that she's basically the name on that deed, and she owns the house now, but it's just sitting there collecting dust. And she was, interested in selling it, but she wasn't super motivated by any means. Then of which I took that lead, I took her information and basically put her into my sales funnel where I was going to keep track of it, but I didn't see she was super motivated, and the number that she threw out there was way out of my maximum offer price. So I was like, Matt, I'll put this on the back burner and I'll follow up with her in a month or so. Well, little did I know, about 2 weeks later, she actually texted me pictures of the property and said, hey, here's the condition of the property as it stands right now, and let me know your thoughts on it. And something that I found was really interesting was when I was talking to her, she made the property sound a lot more worse in terms of condition. She was like, everything is outdated, everything needs to be rehabbed, it's really, really bad. So in my mind, I'm thinking a gut. But after when she sent me the pictures, and I can start throwing up some of the pictures right now just so you can see them, but once I saw the pictures, it really looked all cosmetic. Everything was outdated, but the hardwood floors looked like they were intact. It needs a new kitchen, a new bathroom, some new paint, the standard cosmetic rehab. So my budget, thinking she was making it sound like it was a gut, really was more an average rehab, which was great for me because that brings up my maximum offer price. So we're kind of texting back and forth for a little while, and I'm like, well, let's put in an offer. Let's see if we can get this under contract. So my first number that I threw out there was actually 205. She then rebutted with 225, and honestly, anywhere from 205 to 225, definitely a deal. However, I was like, let's see if we can get 215. So I shot back my number at 215. So the actual seller that we were talking to, she was cool with 215. So we were like, okay, cool, let's go check out the property. And when we got there, the brother was actually not cool with the 215 because they were going to be splitting up the profits. That's when he rebutted with 240. Now, 240 sounds like it could still be a deal, but I was like, I don't know how much lower we can get than that. He was pretty stuck on 240, and we finally agreed and met in the middle at 235. Again, we saw value anywhere around 220 to 240 was really what we were looking for to get for this property, but the best that we could get was 235, so we got that property under contract and then see what we could do with it. Just to dive into the numbers a little bit more, I also put down $100 earnest money, so this was my deposit to the title company. If I were to waste their time past the inspection period, they would get my money, and then with that combined with the 235, I'm really in 235 with that $100 sitting there to hold down the fort. Now, once we got the property locked up, next thing was to find a cash buyer to actually market this to and assign the contract over to them. That's where we jumped on Facebook and started posting this all over groups in the Nashville market. I think all said and done, we posted in 10, 11 groups, and we saw a ton of traction off bat. For those that do not know, Nashville is a crazy, crazy hot market right now, and anything off market that is going to be below the market value, people are going to flock to like vultures. So that's why I think one of the reasons why there's a lot of interest in this property. So then once we started marketing for that first 24 to 48 hours, we got about 35 buyers that were super interested, 40 to 45 total, but serious buyers, probably like 30, 35, in which we scheduled about 15 to 16 showings for this week coming up. In terms of the number breakdown, we said that the ARV for the property, at first, we thought $400,000 for the ARV. In terms of rehab, probably $30,000 to $40,000, depending on, the high-end finishes, maybe more towards the $45,000, $50,000, but that was kind of the range that we were looking at, with an ask price at first at $280,000. Now, we got this property under contract for $235,000, and we were asking $280,000. So that's a very hefty spread. And I was, kind of up in the air. I was like, let's see what the market says. I was not, scared to actually drop that price pretty quickly because I wanted to build a relationship as a wholesaler and make sure I'm giving these investors a good deal. So what we did, after talking to 2 or 3 investors, I was kind of discouraged, and I was like, okay, well, I'll start dropping the price. So we ended up dropping the price to $265,000. Right after dropping that price, we got a ton more interest. Again, more showings for next week. So I was feeling pretty confident about that number, and I was like, let's see what's going to happen. That's when a cash buyer reached out to me and said, I really, really like this. Can you please send me a walkthrough video pictures of the utility, like showing the piping, the electrical breaker, the water heater, the HVAC, pictures of the roofs, kind of the, the breakdown, so they can get a full spectrum because they're an out-of-state investor. So we sent them all of that information. They didn't really say anything at first, so I was like, okay, whatever. And then the next morning, which was 2 days ago, they were like, hey, we're very, very interested in this property. How quickly are you looking to assign it over? So now I have to start taking into account the opportunity cost. So I could assign this contract over now for the quick lockup, but I'm going to be sacrificing my showings for the next week. But if the number makes sense, I was like, you throw out the number and we can go from there. That's where his initial number was 270. Again, we locked up for 235. He's saying we could do this right now for 270. I was like, well, let me talk to my partner. Again, I didn't want to be premature. I didn't want to jump the gun here and say, yep, that works. So I kind of said, let me talk to my partner on this, give us some space and see, what opportunity costs we have to sacrifice here, because we have the showings next week, or I could lock up this contract right now. So what initially happened was, all right, I called him back. I said, look, we have all those showings next week. In order for me to lock this up right now, I would have to do 280. That's when he said, write up the contract, and that's literally exactly what we did. So I typed up that assignment contract and sent it over at 280 with an assignment fee of $45,000. That still is insane, and I don't believe it yet. I really, really don't. He was telling me that they usually plan to close anywhere from 10 to 14 days, probably closer to 14 days for this one, but I was feeling pretty confident about that. So again, the clock is now ticking because I was on a run in the morning and I just saw that he signed over that DocuSign, and I was like, holy freaking crap, I cannot believe this is happening right now. Again, I think this is something to be excited about because it is basically the last step before closing. However, that little area and space right there of the days that it takes to actually close it, those are up in the air, so I can't start celebrating those wins yet, but at least we made it to here. And also the good thing is, even if this buyer backs out, we have a ton of showings that we could start showing people, and who knows, we might be able to even get a better number. But honestly, for my first deal, I was cool with the $45K assignment fee, so I was like, let's just go from here. If anything falls through, we'll start hitting up the other cash buyers and see what we can go from there. So that's probably the highlight of the past week. The other thing that we've been doing, and something that this book, this bad boy right here, The Burr freaking Method, is beautiful. Love this book. Huge David Green fan. I've been listening to a ton of Bigger Pockets, probably like most real estate investors out there, just, getting my knowledge when I can. But I've been reading that book, and it talks a lot about building that dream team. So Josh and myself are really starting to put ourselves out there and starting to meet people. And we work with a lot of realtors. We've probably talked to, 30, 40, maybe even 50 different realtors. And we haven't found one that we've really, really hit it off with until yesterday. For the foreseeable future, we are definitely going to be working with our boy Zindan Baruari. I will put a picture here and also his contact information. Please don't reach out to him unless you are serious if you want to start investing in the Nashville market. His time is valuable, and I don't want people just blowing up his stuff for no reason. But he is a great freaking guy, super humble, and is really, really, educated in the market. And the great thing about him as a realtor is he is a flipper and investor himself. So he understands ARV, he understands rehab costs because he's got a contractor that he works with. He's got subcontractors that he's working with. So his numbers are actually going to be accurate. They're not going to be based on thin air. They're actually going to be based off of experience. His flips are absolutely beautiful. And again, a great person. So hopefully we'll get him on the videos and he can help break down some concepts to you guys, also walk through his rehab processes as well. I also want to put out there, guys, if you are interested in coming into the Nashville market or even working with us, whether you're a realtor, a wholesaler, a flipper, a lender, an investor, whatever it is, go ahead and drop that down in the comments. We would love to network with you, talk to you on the phone, get to know you, because we don't know what we don't know. So having people join the dream team is a dream come true. So go ahead and comment that down below and let's start connecting. That's pretty much it, guys. This video was basically just catching everyone up to speed, as well as giving you a general overview about how we got from an off-market property all the way to assigning it to a cash buyer. So again, I'm going to be making more specific videos breaking down those little bits and pieces. Please drop your comments and questions below so I know what to answer in future videos. But Hope this, got you guys up to speed. Hope it was interesting. Please pray, knock on wood, cross those fingers, whatever you got to do to get this assignment contract to clear, because man, that would be freaking amazing. Thank you so much for watching today's video. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel if you have not already. Hit that thumbs up if you learned something or if you found this video interesting. Hope to see you guys in future videos, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye, guys.